Hello everyone, my name is Brittany Surza, and I'm here to discuss the importance of providing a well-developed education for those students in need of extra support within a classroom. Are you aware of just how drastic the learning process of a special needs student is? Or just perhaps how important it is that these students are accommodated based upon their needs, whether it be within the classroom or outside the classroom? Well, I'm here to encourage each and every one of you to realize the importance of reassuring students to speak up within a classroom with disabilities in order to receive a proper education. I have provided us a display. We're going to start off with bullets. First, what is a learning disability? A learning disability is a neurological disorder. Students can be classified with learning disabilities, whether children with learning disabilities are as smart or smarter than the peers in their classroom. Students with learning disabilities may result in difficulties reading, writing, reassurance, spelling, reasoning, recalling, or remembering, organizing, and developing. Information is left to figure these things out upon themselves. I branched off into two main sections that we're going to be reviewing today. The first one being inclusion. Inclusion of children within a classroom with learning disabilities, and out-of-class support for those students with learning disabilities, also known as self-contained class education. Okay, for instance, inclusion is children with learning disabilities could be included within an average classroom and not taken out of class for their special needs. This matter is called inclusion. It involves bringing the support system to the student rather than pulling them from a classroom to learn on their own in their own environment. Now, out-of-class support. This topic illustrates a positive student outcome. Focusing on the improvement of a student with disabilities must occur. This is one way of providing one-on-one support with each individual student in need of it. This focuses on allowing them to gain by studying abroad, recreation, classroom benefits, and educational classroom benefits. This is a way of focusing on the importance to provide a positive outcome and environment for each individual student, whether with a disability that is high-ranked or low-ranked. They're all included and they have their own learning environment. I branched off with the positives and negatives. For instance, I am going with the cons of an inclusion classroom. Teachers are required to be able to teach on the level of each individual student. Not every teacher is accommodated by a special needed student every day. And if we put a student in a classroom and the teacher is not ready to work with that student or doesn't have a level of education to accommodate that student's going to begin to fall behind. The next one I have here, a teacher who is unfamiliar how to accommodate a student with disabilities may find a difficulty dealing with this matter. Students with disabilities may tend to fall back or get lost within the midst of teaching the other child. If a teacher is trying to continue with a lecture with one particular student, and they have children in the back of the class or in the front of the class that are falling behind because of their learning disabilities, it's going to not only distract that child, but he or she won't be able to continue with the other child, and the education level will lack in some spots more than others. Here's another one. Less one-on-one attention with each individual child. That involves with the other thing I just had mentioned. If we're giving one-on-one attention to children that do not have learning disabilities inside an average classroom, and then we have children that do have learning disabilities, we're focusing on one or the other. There's no way to accommodate both at the same time unless there's more hands-on, other teachers in the classroom. But that also gets into our budget, where schools don't have a good budget right now, but we're going to involve more teachers, and we could just have our own classroom to focus on one-on-one attention with each individual student. Involving all students is a way of causing distractions during mainstreaming, larger classrooms, less attention to the needed children. Children with disabilities cannot work as quickly as those without disabilities. There's students that need to take their time in order to succeed. If we have a certain assignment within a classroom, and those children that are capable of succeeding in that assignment very quickly, there may be children that are not so quickly on a task, and it will get distracting, and not only that, but it will not motivate them to try harder next time. This is a way of encouraging our students. We need to encourage them to proceed with their education, and this is a way of just knocking them down. And they already have a disability. They need the advantage of being able to learn properly. Okay, so as you see, I'm not for inclusion. I'm going to go on to the next topic of out-of-class support for those students with disabilities and the positives that it encourages those students as well as teachers to promote. Students are given the acknowledgement they deserve. There's a classroom full of students that have the same learning disabilities. This is one way of accommodating all of them at once. They're all on the same level. Whether their disability is high ranked or low ranked, they still have a disability and they can work at their own advantage in their own pace. Another one is students are given more one-on-one time. Students are surrounded by other students with disabilities. Classroom sizes for out-of-class support tend to be much smaller. If there's a smaller amount of students, there's more time for each student to have more attention. There's more time for each student to learn at their pace. There's more time for each student to ask questions while feeling comfortable. They don't need to feel out of place because there's other children that they feel are better than them. They need to be on the same level and be able to be like, I have an issue, I need to be able to discuss it, or I don't understand where we are. What do I do next? Students need that capability in order to learn successfully. Allow students to express themselves and not be concerned regarding their feelings or dignity of being misled with educational material. Back to what I just said. If a student is learning a particular thing and they are misled from it, they need to be able to ask questions. And perhaps a student within an average class, an inclusion class, won't feel comfortable doing so. They need that open availability to be able to question whether, it's wrong or right. They need to be able to ask questions to learn the material properly. Flexibility with students, larger periods of work and study time. A lot of students don't learn on the same pace and need more extended time in order to accomplish their goal in education. A out-of-class support classroom would give those students with disabilities the advantage of taking their time and actually learning the material, being able to become the material and not have to just do it because they're being told to do it and being paced on it. They need to be able to adjust to the material, take their time, and comprehend it properly in order to successfully use it in the future. Qualified teachers to gather, prepare work that is capable for those students. All teachers are properly prepared and capable of teaching a student. Not every teacher is properly prepared for dealing with a disabled student or a student with special needs. There's a specific degree you can go to school for that. There's those teachers out there right now that have a degree specifically to take care of educated students that need help and are specially gifted or in need of special help, learning disabilities, anything of that sort. And we should be giving them this opportunity to take care of our disabled students or children with learning disabilities to prepare for their future and make sure that they are successful and learn the material properly. That pretty much sums up my entire poster board here. As you can see, we've talked about learning disabilities, an inclusion classroom, out-of-the-class support, and their pros and cons. I particularly go for the pros of the out-of-class support. That's my personal opinion. I do see the pros for the inclusion, but I feel that this is overpowering the fact that we need more help for our disabled and special needed children to have a better future. This is just my way of informing all of you this material, and I hope you make the right decision and encourage those out there that are going for educational support for their children and students to go with this route and hope for a better future for our learning disabilities. Thank you again, and I will talk to you all soon. Have a good one.